Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the weekly WAYPN. I'm Cal.
And I'm Sunny.
AKA
Henry and Sangita.
So first off, we've got Steven, and he's just showing off these 3D prints. I think they're 3D prints.
I'm pretty sure they're 3D prints.
And basically, he just used them so that he can actually see the colours on his things. And one of the reasons I like little posts like this is because people can see how things have... not how things have progressed. How other people do their hobby. You know, how they
I would say it's more like sharing some innovative ideas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's showing how they get around some of their common issues.
Yeah, exactly. And this is fantastic for contrast paint because you want to see how the colors are on how it's on the white surface and the thinnest layer and how it looks in the pooled areas. That's completely fantastic. What I have been doing for Henry is not for this contrast, but just your regular pots. I would just, the Citadel pots, they have like a smaller circle on the cap. I'll just paint that with the color.
What I love is the number of hand movements and gestures you do with
it's
all
like
of
no
this.
one can see anything.
All right, so next up we've got Lance.
You know it's Lance when you see that classic
the aquarium plants in the background.
The flooring. I don't know what to call it. Like it's like a rock base sort of situation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just what do you call it? It's not cork, bark. I'm pretty sure it's bark that he's painted.
Well, Lance, tell us how it's done.
All right,
so you've got some beetles here.
Yeah, and he said, I didn't have any fire beetles to add to the adventure, so...
Well, he's already at number 91.
Yeah, so that's pretty good, man. And see, this is what I like, right? That we have people with different goals here. So, a little further on, we've got a person who's finished off something that they've been working on for ages. Also, I like how he's got the little base for the aquarium plants here. Yeah. I think it's a very nice photo setup.
It is actually. It's actually quite lovely.
So, what has he done well? What can he do better?
I think he's done the color scheme very nicely. There's clearly a great contrast.
I think that the yellow of the sort of pincers have come out really well.
Yeah. I feel like they have a bit more of a ladybug vibe rather than a firebug. I think maybe you could bring in a little bit of fire or glowing element with a little bit of dry brushing on the back.
So I think he could dry brush on the back into an orange, right? Or alternatively, what he could do is he could do a white ink in the middle of them, right?
Oh.
And then dot it. So then put that yellow in the middle there, and then sort of on the exterior do the red
and orange, and then it's sort of gradient to the middle
so
where
it's
the
got
yellow.
that little glow in the middle of their back.
That's very simple, but it could work.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think for Lance, he's just sort of I want to get to my 100.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to see any redos. But I do like that he's putting some gravel on there now. And I think, however, the bases need maybe one or two elements more. Maybe just a little rock or something.
Yeah, little pebbles, I think. Because obviously I'm not sure if they're meant to be big beetles or small beetles.
I think they're meant to be giant beetles for a D&D adventure.
Okay, yeah.
And
a little clearer shot. Oh, I see.
Yeah, see, I think the yellow came out really nicely. And I think maybe he's done some sort of effect paint for here.
Yeah, it looks at a glossy, some of the exoskeletons that you find on, beetles that are so glossy, shiny.
You know what? He could use just the tiniest dry brush of grey on here because I can see that he's done some grey up here.
This is just my personal opinion, but I think it would be fun if he if he didn't want to do anything on the shell, he could do a little bit of that sort of reddish yellow dry brush on the skin to make it look like it's sort of fire glow.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
that's just my
as if the shell itself is glowing. Yeah, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I get what you're saying. But, yeah, because I see that he's done some grey here, but I don't think that it comes up that well.
Yeah, it does look like the natural highlights from the light source itself.
Yeah, but see, like, you can see a tiny bit of it there.
Yeah, I do see that, yeah.
But anyway, so what he did well, I think the colour scheme is good, and what he can improve is making it a bit more fiery and some improvements on the base.
Yeah, what do you think about having him do a black rim? Because that's something we always advocate to do for bases, doing the black rim,
No,
just leave it as is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright,
okay.
and even more from Dan.
So this one, he said that it was a little retro piece.
So he painted up these about 40 years ago. They were never really finished. I do like the rather antique, rustic look. And I feel I can't hit that level again. However, I want to finish up
a little.
Yeah.
Trying not to ruin the overall look. Opinions, please. Has anyone shared any comments? Not yet. No.
No. So we'll write one in here. So my thought is that these are painted and these are a part of his personal history. Right? So some of them aren't going to come up that well. Like, for example, this guy right here. I have the distinct feeling that that's going to be as good as that face gets there, because I don't feel like the model itself will actually be that detailed.
Yeah.
You remember these models are very old, so there's a good chance that
the detailing work is not as great as it is now.
Yeah, so I'm going to write here in case it doesn't watch the thing. So okay, let me write, computer.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel that these are a part of your personal history, so leave them be.
Well, we'll wait for it to load.
If it ever loads.
It's lagging.
Yes, the computer does this some of the times.
I'm sure if we just leave it alone, we'll come back to it in a little bit.
Yeah, we will look at something else in the meantime. So we will take a look at Stephen McCollin's Owlbear, and hopefully things will work and we won't cry.
I do like the owlbear. I do wish there was a bit of a clearer picture for the Sorry, give me a second. This is my left. Yes, my left, the left picture. Now, I give myself a hard time on this because I haven't learned to drive yet, and it's very important to know your left from your rights, and I get them confused all the time. But left picture could be a lot clearer, but there it is.
Yes.
Yay!
I saw the text thing disappear, and I was like, oh no.
No!
So, yeah. Well, so what I think he did well is, I think, actually bringing out the eye here and giving that. I think that the feathers are nice, but I feel like a lot of this could really benefit from an overall dry brush.
A dry brush and maybe a wash as well for the definition in the fur.
No, like I feel like it's fine, like with the depth of color, but I feel like the highlights are just a tiny bit missing. I feel like the base is nice though.
The base is well done, but I do agree with you on there needing to be just a little bit more with the dry brush, because it's a big boy, this one.
Yeah.
You can definitely push a bit more detail with this guy. And I feel that the face, I'm not too sure why he's gone for that sort of bluish grey color.
Well, I think it's because it's a neutral, natural color, right, against all of this. So you've got a natural, neutral color against all of the brown. And I like it personally as the color choice because that bluish grey is ours don't have sort of puffy cheeks like this, right?
Yeah.
But that's sort of the look that it's trying to imitate, sort of thing.
I suppose. I wonder if giving it a little bit of like feather strokes around the face area, if that would be too much or what.
Well, see, I feel like that's going over tabletop. I feel like, because I think this is where Steven's aiming, and our goal is to help them achieve their goals,
Right.
not anything else, right? So that's why I feel like a dry brush is something where you can add to that, and it's just tabletop, right? Whereas, if you start going into that, you start going into sort of character level sort of thing, because it's not a common skill sort of thing, if that makes sense.
I get it. Oh, after looking at this owl bear, I want an owl bear for myself.
Yes, well, we didn't do any painting today, so that's
Yeah.
punishment for me. And thank you so much for doing this. That was fantastic. And I think what we're going to try and do is do a mix of this, you doing it, then me, and so on and so forth. So next up, we've got...
Random gobble.
I always read him as Rando.
Oh, I always read his name as Random Globe.
Yeah.
Not random, but I can see how that would
No,
happen.
not random, just
rando.
Rando.
Rando guy. But sorry, we're not trying to make fun of you.
No.
But I think, do you think he's a commission painter of some sort? Because his skill level seems to be pretty good.
Well, so he's a mate of Alan's, and Alan is not a commission painter, and I bet that he
Another god.
It's. I think that he just competes. So first off, I really, really like this character. I think that she's come up amazingly well, right?
I always liked this character, but just because I like her outfit.
Yeah. I like the way that he's done the lightsaber here. I also like the contrast with these guys and the grey on the base. This, I'm not as...
Sorry, give me 1 second.
Yes.
My alarm has gone off.
Yes. We're already doing it.
Yeah.
Alright. I feel like with this one, there's not as much contrast though. That's why I felt with the Shatterpoint bases, certain bases fit certain people.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying.
But I think this is really good. Okay, so what has he done well? And where can he improve?
So clearly he's done a fantastic job with not only... I can't comment on the color scheme because you have to follow what is exactly the Star Wars character's color, right?
Yeah.
But he's brought out the detailing perfectly, right? You can see the highlights in her dress, the wrinkles.
Yeah.
I can't tell if it is... how much of it is natural light highlight and how much of it is actual painted on highlight.
No, I think this is all painted.
Right? And I mean, look at that. I couldn't even tell if it was, natural or not. That's how good this is, right? And I love what he's done with the stippling of the dirt on the skirt. Classic, but not many people do that, but it adds character.
But I think that's actually one of the points where he can improve. So
Oh, is it?
Brushstrokes is one of the people who does this. Now, he does the stippling of the dirt, but one of the things is, see how it's got that sort of distinct line there, right?
I suppose.
So you've got that distinct line, and see, when you've got that kind of dirtiness, it doesn't just be all caked on and then just a cut off. So one of the things that you can do there to improve is just get some blue tack, put it on a toothpick and just dab.
Dab at the edge.
Yeah, we'll dab around there, and that will give you a nice fade with it.
I don't know. I feel the fade came out it's not very obvious to me.
Well, I think here it's a lot more apparent how stark it is, like there. And see, the thing is, if he's one of these high level painters, right, who, like, these are the kinds of things that hopefully we can offer that will help improve. But yeah, I think he's done really well. I like the various droids in the background. I really like this one.
That guy's my favorite too, yeah.
I don't know where he comes from. I think these guys I just find unexciting. And I think you can see that he didn't put as much effort into the painting with these. And
But
to be honest...
yeah, droids look like that pretty much.
Yeah,
so.
and like, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't either.
Well, unless he wants to take it a step further and add a little bit of battle damage here and there on the guys.
No, see, like, NC, I can totally get why he's just like, yeah,
Meh.
Yeah, exactly.
You do not deserve.
Yes, exactly.
I love her face though. The face has come out so like characterful. But I will say one last thing before we move on. Maybe this is just my personal preference, or maybe I don't know I do know that's a lightsaber, but I'm not very keen on the way that lightsaber is done. I think
really?
Yeah, I feel that another one of our Cage did the lightsaber in such a way that it really did look just like a lightsaber from the movie.
Well, I feel like it's because of her character, you know, where it's got the sort of zoom, zoom, zoom.
Oh, then I don't know about it. I
feel like he did this one better than this one, and I was going to move on, but yeah, I feel like this one came up a lot better. But I think it's because of the facing, whereas this one doesn't have, like, even though it's the same style, see how it's got that length of the strike in the middle, whereas this one doesn't have that same length. I think just little things like that, but we must move on.
Moving on.
To even more of his work.
Yes, look at this guy.
Alright, so,
I forget the name of this character.
Darth Maul.
Darth
But I
Maul.
tell you what, that
face.
that is what's incredible. So you see here, it comes through a lot better. But I think the issue is that with a lot of the times with lightsabers, it's all about facing.
It is very much so, yes, correct.
And I think that's one of the issues. So I feel like the greys in this, like, even though I can see the patterning and like the sort of various, like, you can see that he's going for a certain technique, but I feel like this one wasn't done as well as the previous black. I preferred that previous black style to this one, but I can see that he's going for a very particular look. But yeah, look at that. That is incredible.
Yeah,
like
the
all
patterning.
of the detail, all of that stuff. Just absolutely incredible.
That must have been difficult to get.
Yes.
Darth Maul is not easy character paint, especially with this set. It's very small.
No, these ones are much bigger. The shadow point, they're like 32 millimeter.
Oh, okay.
Which is good because, like, the ones I was dealing with, the ones you were thinking of were like 8 millimeter.
Oh, okay.
So like, yes, not diminishing this work at all, which is incredible, but trying to do that on 8 millimeter. No.
Oh, no, thanks. It's just gonna look like a ladybug.
Yeah, I very much tried it. So starting from scratch, you know, had some success there. Yes, very much so.
We've had one really good critique comment on this video. They mentioned certain things that we missed out, certain things we could have done that were more specific, and you know, I thought they had a point there.
Well, we did have a reason for the very first thing that you need to get, which is a friend.
Yeah.
You need a friend in this hobby. And it's really important that you do, because they can fill in the gaps. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to have a quick pause.
And we are back.
But yeah, basically, just have a friend. And like, community is important, right?
Yes.
And even if it's small, personal community, it really changes how you feel. And I think that is the most important thing.
And I think especially for starting out, it's so easy to get stressed by things you don't know.
Yeah.
And you are very more likely to drop out if you don't have someone to talk to, someone to go to for certain things, and you're just tasked with figuring everything out by yourself, especially with videos.
Yeah.
And we know the stresses of searching through a bajillion videos trying to figure out which one actually gives you the content you're looking for.
Yeah.
You know, some of the times you have to like spend 5 minutes in a video and then turns out it's not what you were looking for at all, and you feel like you wasted your time and you feel a sense of hopelessness.
And that is why we're actually doing a follow-up to this one.
Yes.
And we actually recommend one of our tried and true friends here, Brushstrokes,
Yes.
along with 2 other people.
Brushstroke, please watch our video.
So next up we've got
Ooh.
Andy. So Andy Dickinson, Sunday Painting. Oh, you want to read?
Yeah. Supplicant of Morgoth from Journeys in Middle Earth. Ooh, first chance I've had to paint in a while, but I'm happy with it.
So one of the things that I really like about Andy is that he's painting at different levels.
Oh.
So, like the thing is with this one, right? I'm not saying it's bad, right? But you can see later on, even in this week, right, that he's like done better work. And see, like the thing is, he's like, I just picked up a brush and I'm happy to be, painting. And like that's the thing. It's okay to just do just a little bit of painting. And
Yeah, it doesn't have to be great some of the times, you know?
And trust me, like I'm a commissioned painter and I like to paint with you.
Yeah, I like painting with you too.
But
Yeah, of course.
like the thing is, I look at everything that I need to paint and I just think to myself, ugh.
Why?
Yeah, and like some of the times when I paint for myself, I just sort of want to get it done.
Yeah.
But I think what he's done really well here is the light effect.
The OSL is fantastic.
And I think that's just come up so well.
I would say that unfortunately, because the cloak, the color that he's chosen, which is pastel, purple, it is actually the same value as the light source color, the overcast.
No, I don't think it's the same
it is.
value. I'd say in a very similar hue tone. But I mean, like, look at that. That is not the same value.
If you grayscale that pink and that purple, you'll see it. It'll pretty much looks very similar in terms of the gray will all look the same.
I'd hit that with a strong disagree with some of like the highlights from this, but I think also because remember this is Lord of the Rings, so he very much may not have chosen
the color.
The
yeah, I just thought maybe the purple could be a lot darker, which will bring out the light source a bit more. But you can see how good the light source already is. But
But also the other thing is, absolutely fantastic basing. Love this basing, and see like. This is what I talk about when I say just all you need is 3 elements. You don't need a lot, right? So we've got the sort of standard gravel here, right? We've got those little, slightly larger stones, and then some tufts, and that's it, right? You don't need to go absolutely mad, right? Like that. That's enough. But yeah, so I'd say what he's done well. The light
source, yeah.
I feel like the cloak could be picked up a lot, but I think that's mostly because, he's like, he just wanted to get some painting in. So like, I feel like giving too much of a hard time on some of these, like, is counterproductive because he
just wanted to paint something, yeah.
And like, I feel like I get that, man. I get that. I feel you, dog.
You just want to finish something and be happy.
Yeah. Oh, and so
dragon.
Stephen works on this throughout the week. So post-priming, starting the point of the young bronze dragon. And see, what I like is where he gives this process, right? And you see it go on throughout the week. And the thing is, that's how it is for a lot of people. Like, they prime, they get this one coat in, and then it's like, all right, now real life takes over. And I like seeing this evolve. So let's move on, and we'll get on to the next one. Oh, yeah, no, so he's like finished the base coat, and I think it's coming up quite strongly. You know, but yeah.
I like that sort of yellowish highlight that's come through. But
Well,
I think that's not painted. I think that's just the
metallic.
paint.
Yeah, it's the metallic giving the shine. But yeah, so I like seeing that. And yes, more from Stephen.
Is your brush clean? No, it's not.
But
it's Monday.
Have you kept your brushes wet?
Oh, it's Monday, and this rat is here to ask you: is your brush clean? Oh.
All right. Now.
It's Mr. Genuine Vision.
Yes. So it's genuine.
Genuine.
But so the primary issue I have with this right here is that I feel like, because I've been dreading this one all week, because I take a look at this, right, and it is a beautiful piece. Also, what a great choice for a plinth.
Yeah.
Like,
Look just at all like different layers.
Yeah, like just like the character himself, it's so natural, so full of character, you know?
Yes.
And one of the reasons I was dreading this is because essentially, what do I say? Because I feel like with all of this, there's nothing I can say. It's just so fantastic. I really love it. Like there's...
Look at the tattoo on his arm.
Yeah.
Dang. See the wrinkles in his old man hands.
I guess maybe that's one thing, you know, like, if he got that tattoo as a younger man, it would be quite faded.
Well, it isn't. In a way, it is a bit faded because it's not like a pure black like how it would be if it was.
Yeah, but,
you know?
like, if you see older men with tattoos, like, they're very faded. But
well, I'm very sure this is a magic man.
Yeah, and
so...
see, like, but I mean, like, listen, I'm gonna hold on to that because I am struggling to find anything
to give feedback
and,
on.
And like, as for what he did well, like there is just too much to go into. Like, those eyes are so filled with character.
Like, he's a tired old man, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, look how red the eyes are, and he's got some sort of scarring on the side of his head, and...
Well, like, also, just this shadowing.
Yeah.
I love it. And, like...
And he's clearly used, like, sort of cool tones to show the overcast of the sky color.
Yeah.
Which, you know, when you have... shadows in daylight, they have a blue tinge to them because of the light reflected from the sky. So, you know, It is truly fantastic, and I'm really sorry, man. I try, but I've been dreading this all week because I'm just like, you did fantastically, and there's nothing I can really add. Oh, look, even the bird is a butthole.
Yes, honey. Try not to get us upset with the evil YouTube gods. You know, I think this guy kicks smooth butts.
Really?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because it's just a feeling I get.
We were watching just a little bit of the show before we started.
Yeah.
But I wanted to comment something, but I didn't know how it would turn out, like if I was sounding mean. But I was going to say, now that's a yummy banana. I mean, look at it. Because, like, bananas that you get at the grocery store have exactly that type of nick on them some of the times. And that stippling of the brown. It looks like a banana.
I swear to all of you, I feed her, okay? She was fed just before this. Had pork belly and
chicken carbonara.
Yes.
Yum.
Yes, okay? Like, that's too meat. Carbohydrates, you know, that she shouldn't be talking about food.
Well, some people make some yummy models. What can I say?
Ayo.
It's all your fault. I blame you.
Yes, they're going to blame me.
I blame brushstroke.
All right, so you can read now, woman.
Okay, it's a Dermot Grey Knights. All weapons are magnetized. Ooh, magnetized. Also, they are magnetized at the waistline, so the model can be partially rotated. And since they are psychers, I employed some lightning on their nemesis weapons. I'm very happy with them as the client. Oh, the client.
Yeah.
I'm probably nice.
Well, see, and that's the important thing. And see, this is one of the things, right? When people are talking about their various...
Wow, look at that. It really looks like Transformers. It looks like Optimus Prime, but, toned down a little bit.
So, I like the muzzle burns here, but I feel like up here, maybe not as much. You could have used like a soot effect. Just like get some black powder and just push it on, and I feel like that would be quicker. And see, this is some of the things, right? We've got to give our feedback appropriate to the person, right? And so he's a commission painter, right? So anything where speed can be improved, that's where I feel like we can give good tips.
I think the metal is fantastic. It really looks like
pure steel.
Pure steel, yeah. I wonder what paints you use. Because you don't see the mica flakes very well in this one. It looks like proper chrome.
I think this might be scale 75 ones, because like the scale 75, like the mica flakes are super fine or like mixed in.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us, Mr. Dearwood? Tell us what you have done.
So one person asked about these, and apparently these are paper clips.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's
and
cool.
I reckon that's really interesting, the way that he's done them up.
That's very nice.
So, the thing is, if the client likes them, that's great. The only thing that I think when I look at these is they're quite long.
Oh.
Like, I feel like if you were going to do an effect like this, you could do something like this, but I maybe only come to here and then do other ones coming from it, but even shorter than those. But maybe he tried something like that before and it didn't quite come out as...
Yeah, I do think he could have a much brighter light source from the lightning, because it just looks all blue though.
Yeah. So you're saying those sorts of things. But what I really find interesting is sort of how he's put it all together. But the big thing is that the client is happy. And so long as the client's happy, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what we sort of give feedback on, right? If your client's happy...
That's all that matters, yeah. Because it doesn't matter what we say, because we're not the one with the model at the end of the day. And
that's the big thing. A commission painter should always be aiming to please their client and no one else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It doesn't matter what the heavy metalers think. It doesn't matter what the plebs think, right? If your client wants it done, orange, purple, and green, and everybody agrees that's a horrible color scheme, well, they're all wrong, because
that's what the client wants. Yeah.
And so I think that it's done well. It's quite stark, and so, but that I would say is probably deliberate choice by the client and that sort of thing. So I don't want to go into too much with some of it, because I feel like some of it won't be his choice. Some of it will be what his client wants. But I do think with the lightning, I feel like that's an effect that he added rather than the client requested.
Mm-hmm.
And because Dearwood's known for doing those sorts of things, just the things which other people don't. I think that it's just a bit long. That's all.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I think,
I think it's a fantastic effect, very innovative, but I do think that the light source could have been a lot brighter. That's pretty much my comment. Everything else is fantastic.
All right, let us move on. Move on. But
So who's this, honey?
It's me.
Who is this man?
But so I've been working on this for a bit, but I got some more parts and changed some things around, and like I feel like now with just these few changes, it feels a lot more close to where I want it to be. But I feel like it has more of that feel, that feel of like this is old Hammy, like you got some bits of junk together, all of this sort of
You
stuff.
just do it.
And yeah, it just made me feel as if, all right, I'm doing it.
I like it because it's very crafty. That's why I really like this project. And I also like how you did the foaming rust.
Oh yes,
I
but
love
that's with the other ones, yes.
The other ones, yes. But it's still very good.
All right, now.
It's Joseph.
All right, so we must be prepared for text.
Oh, okay. It's short today.
It's
Don't worry, Joseph. We're not making fun of you.
just read.
I picked up a paintbrush. I tried painting last weekend, but it was too hot. I was trying to wet blend, and the first color was dry before the second paint made it to the model, so I gave up. I got in only a few hours work this past weekend and got this done. I think it's just the white roughs and metallic trim to go, but I may change my mind as I progress. I hope to get this Slender Man and the Manhunter finished this weekend, or at least before season 1 of Diablo starts and I forget to paint again for a few more weeks.
Oh no, he's been taken by the video games. But we do see some progress on this guy a bit later on. So I don't want to comment too much on him because I feel as if like we'll be doing a lot of doubling up.
But I do like how the colors are looking so far.
Oh yeah, it's I feel as if a lot of it's looking really good already.
It's got sort of a horror circus vibe.
Yeah. Well, like, I won't get into it.
We won't get into it.
So next up, we've got Stephen, and he has done quite a bit. You ready for a lot of reading?
I'll try my best. Time for my Whip Wednesday 5-star frog splash placeholder name. They are still in the process of getting highlighted up suggestions on colors and blacking out the base rims to put their team numbers on them. Individual names will come in later as I have an idea on how to name them. Those that know me know that all my players all have themed names, so stay tuned. Well, let's see what I've done, shall we? Let's hop to it. Bases, corkboard base.
I like that it's hop to it.
Right, corkboard bases broken up and glued down to give it a rough edge and shape. Put some GW Technique Astra Granite down before painting it black with contrast Black Legion, my favorite at the moment. Need a new pot. Once done, brush some dry terminated stone before using AP hardened leather speed paint to give it a muddy kind of look. Next up was to add the swamp green water gel. 2 coats. Tufts and stones were used to tie it all together, and a line brush on for a pitch marking. Okay. Yeah. As for the stars of the bases, leaping in are these amazing slant minis, trying to use some bright colors. The blue feathers are catchers. That's why they are red, so they move faster. Why?
I'll explain after.
Okay, the blitzers are the ones with the yellow feathers, and the lime frogs have yet to earn their feathers. The armors was me trying to do a jade style armor. There's still more work to be done, such as the weapons for the blitzers and their armor and some jewelry. 5 points for anyone who can guess the idea for the turn markers. No cheating by looking at the comments. Overall, really enjoying my slam paint adventure. Can't wait for them to leap into action and get a leg up on their opponents.
Okay, so orcs think that red is faster.
Is it?
Yeah, it's alright. Alright, so
I love this.
Okay, so yes, I really like the way that this is done. So colourful, so bright, very
clean as well.
Yeah, quite nice. I think that they're that is more effort than you should possibly need to do for a turn marker. But I think they look great.
Oh, look, froggies.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to... Alright, so these blue ones were the blitzers, right? And the red ones were the...
Catchers or
yeah,
something.
yeah. So
That bowl is nice.
let's take a look. I feel like some of this works really well, but see these white flowers, I know where these white flowers from. They're from an Australian company. They're SMS Dragon flowers, I feel. And they're quite stark. And I feel like it doesn't fit the swamp theme.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Because, like, everyone else has a pretty consistent looking swampy.
Yeah.
Except for that guy.
Yeah. And see, like, that sort of puts it off. I'm not saying that flowers are a bad thing, but what I am saying is those particular flowers, because they're quite vibrant and intense. They look like meadow flowers.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Meadow flowers.
Yes. So I think I really like the coloration and the spotting here. That's come through very nicely.
Yeah.
I think they're all looking great. I think that they've got a lot of character to them. And I think that, I'd be very proud to use these models.
I would. I like how he's done the football as well.
But yeah, those little spots and coloration have come through so well.
They're very exciting models, this is for sure.
Yeah, I feel like they're quite nice. And have the right amount of detail. Like, you could go ham on them like he has with the, spots and coloration and all of this. Or you could just, be, rather quick with them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The only thing I would say he could improve is, like, the tabards. Like, the wash lines here are quite apparent with a lot of them. But I don't think that's a big issue.
Yeah, I do think that the Xanathol Prime has really helped this model very well.
Yes,
yeah,
I would agree. All right, so...
Ooh, look at these guys.
I think these are the throwers. Oh, no, I think these are the blitzers.
The way
these are the throwers.
The way he's painted these guys,
Yeah.
it looks like Ninja Turtles but frog version.
Well, see, there's a thing called Battletoads, and it's a whole thing. I can get into it, but yeah,
Of
I
course.
think once again, this really steals the limelight. I feel like it fits in more here in the center of it, but I feel like there it just sort of doesn't quite fit. And also, I think the sort of swamp slime comes through better in some of them. Like this one, I feel like it's quite good.
Yeah.
But I feel like when it's got that sort of straight drop down, it doesn't quite look as consistent. Like you can even
I can see
here,
the glossiness of it.
yeah, but you can see like where it slides down a bit, it looks quite a lot nicer. But when it's got those edges, I don't think it works as well. I think maybe if he wanted to do anything with it, he could put some PVA down, right? Or something down for it to sort of have something to slide on, so that it's not just that sort of straight drop.
Maybe. I don't know. I have a feeling if we see this in real life, it'll look very obvious.
But yeah, once again, I think that the flowers sort of like mess up a lot of the work that he's done with this basing, because you can see the level of effort he's put into the basing.
It's an excellent base, yes.
And it's more about the level of effort he's put in. And I look at it and I'm just like, well, that's really fantastic. But I feel like once again the flowers have stolen the show. The feathers look nice. I like all of their different colours. I think they came together really well. And so these are the linemen.
These are the jade armor guys.
Yeah, and I feel like with the jade armor, he could have done better with it. I know that he's trying things out, but I think there's a lot to go into with a lot of them. I think jade, you want to treat it closer to a marble.
Yeah. I would agree with that. No, yeah.
But on that scale, I can understand why you don't want to do that. The way that I get around that, if you want to do jade, and I've done it before on that scale, is you stipple and then you draw lines and then you gloss up.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people are going to think that you're going for a sort of different steel look, especially with this, with the very sort of high edges, right? I think they won't get that it's meant to be a jade.
Right.
But, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But we are trying to help you achieve your goals. And you said that you wanted to achieve a jade, and I don't think that you hit jade
as well, but everything else definitely came through.
Yeah, no, because like the frogs, once again, have a lot of character to them. And once again, with the bases, right? So like you take a look at all of these bases, right? And like they feel quite coherent until you get to that big...
Yes, we understand.
Yes, I know that you understand. I'm just saying. Also, I really like the nerd frog.
The nerd froggo, yeah, nerd froggo. Look at the big boy.
And look, see, once again, you can see what I'm talking about with the slime. See, since it has somewhere to slide, and it's not the straight down, it feels a lot better.
I actually disagree. I really think that if we saw this in real life, it would make total sense.
All right. Well, perhaps you're right.
I think photography-wise, yes, I can agree with you on that. But I can tell that they're pretty glossy, so...
Yeah, it's not about the gloss, right? It's about selling the effect, right? So you see here, it feels swampy, right? Whereas this feels like it's sort of closer to toxic pollution.
Oh, okay.
Because like it's hit the side and sort of just stuck there, right?
Right. Okay.
Whereas a natural swamp, it'd give a slight discoloration to that area, but it wouldn't have that same sort of sticking. Whereas this, right, you sort of feel like, oh, it's that swampiness that, like, if you go in there, you're gonna feel that algae and all of that run up your leg, and you're like, no thanks.
Gross.
Because, like, yeah, even on the back here, you see how when it's got that area to run down, it fit, and like even back. So on the front of this base, see, it's got that sharp edge, but on the back, like,
that's the wrong model. The other one. You were looking at the nerds one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you are right. So, but you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so there's him doing up the bases.
Oh, cool.
And here's him...
washing it.
Yeah. And then he's putting
Water gel swamp green. Cool.
Yeah. Now, so like, see, I feel like with here, it's looking quite good. And see, I think he was just sort of waiting. Also, one of the things, Stephen, is you'll find that these balls are quite oversized. So he took the GW kit ball and just painted it up. Oh. And like, cause when I saw him grabbing this, I was like, God, that ball's huge.
Right.
And it's just because it's the GW ball. But that's all of it. I think we've given pretty comprehensive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So what has he done well?
I think he's brought out the details and the character and the tones. Yeah. Contrast, perfect.
Contrast is great. Also,
yes.
I love the spotting. The spotting is fantastic.
And I think he done the base well, except for the flower situation.
Yeah, and I will add, I feel like when you've got the straight down, it's not you, it's the effect paint not really helping you out here, not giving you what you want, but it's something to keep in mind for the future. All right, let us move on. So next up, we have
Oh boy.
another Joe Sutton adventure. So you ready to read out?
Okay, good day, y'all. I was making a start on the next big orc. The idea of being a wired boy, as I needed something to be an energy weapon based dreadnought. And what's better than a dreadnought's energy weapon? But got distracted by the other idea I was having making the leader dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts? Oh, okay. Well, based on Iron Hand's Primarch Ferrous Manus, but instead of a massive hammer, I made a start on a massive rock drilling axe. I think I'm free Thursday, so I hope to do more and add this post then. Cool.
Alright, so let's take a look at another Joe Sutton adventure.
Yeah.
And I really do like these. So he's given a sort of concept look that he's found.
Yes.
He's like, I like
on
the idea.
Pinterest.
Also, there's, I know you said wired, but they're, and it's probably the autocorrect, but they're meant to be called weird boys.
Oh, weird boys. Okay.
So what has he got here? He's got a whole lot of bits and pieces.
He's got a sub-assembly going on here.
Well, I think that so this is the...
Ferrous Manus, yes.
Yeah, because I'm working on that. Oh, God. So here we see him sort of fitting things together. Alright, so he's got...
Look at the axe. It's got balls.
Drills. It's got drills on it. See the little drill heads?
Drill bits. Okay.
Alright. Oh, and it's got rockets on the back now.
Of course it does.
Very orky. Very orky. And drill on the bottom. Alright.
Because orcs want to go big or go home, boys.
Yes, they are very much like that.
He removed the drill. He removed the drill on the bottom.
Calm. But yeah, so he's just adding some detailing here. And I do think that helps. I do think that helps a lot. Mm-hmm. Alright, so it's just an adventure, but you know what? I love seeing posts like this. The reason that I love seeing posts like this is because when you see something like this, you get an idea for somebody's process. You're like, that's how they do things, and it really sells the idea of somebody taking time to get things done.
Yeah, it's got all the fiddly bits being shown and everything, the decision making, all that, you know.
But yeah, because I think that's what I really like with Joe Sutton's things is I think he does it much better with the crafting part than he does with the painting part. But I think he does really well in showing that it's a process. Mm-hmm. That it's not just something that automatically happens. You know, it's not like, ta-da, here's my finished product. And like, I feel like I've been bad for that the past few days because I've taken works in progress of, like you guys have seen these guys slowly evolve, but not so much the other people. And there's roughly 1 million pictures of these guys, but I will open this up and you want to comment more on my stuff and give feedback. So take it away.
Oh, look at it, it's so colorful. And I think you've done a great job with adding the little twigs there to add extra character to the base, but I know that, you know, it's for a kid, so you wanted to have a little extra holding point for him.
Oh yes, so when we get to the guy with the arrow, the spear, one of the things that I did is I made it so that he would pick up from that point instead of from the top point. But it's your moment to shine. You're meant to be giving feedback.
Well, I think you done the color very nicely, honey, and you know, the detail on the skin has come out very well as well. Mm-hmm. I'm not too sure what I can say in terms of improvement because I think they've got lots of character, especially look at the hat. Hat came out real nice.
This is what I was talking about.
Yeah, the little wood.
Because he would, as all young kids do, reach for the top point So hopefully that will get in the way and give him something else to grab onto. But
I
yeah,
think you've
continue.
done the detailing very nicely, especially with that hat, and the contrast has come out pretty well. But in this picture, for some reason, or maybe maybe because I'm seeing it on the TV, but like a lot of the shadow points look almost unpainted. But I know that's not true.
Yeah, but I would say that the shadow points are a lot stronger in these ones because I tried to take direction from what
Alan, was it?
what Alan said of like giving more contrast. And
Well, they all look super cohesive, honey, and I like how it's all turned out. I'm not really sure what I can say in terms of feedback on the goblins because I think the goblins really turned out very nicely. Yeah.
all right, well, I know that you said that you wanted to give feedback. And next up, we've got Tyrone DeBono.
For my Whip Wednesday, I thought I'd show some dry brushing and contrast paint experiments I've been doing on some 40k proxies and Lord of the Rings models. Absolutely love the level of detail it brings out, and the best thing is it fools most of my friends into thinking I'm a pro. What could go wrong? Well, I do agree when we take a look a bit into some of the details here.
All right, cool. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk to him about was there's a guy called Zumikito Miniatures, and he talks about dry brushing in one of his most recent videos. And I think that would help you a lot because it seems like, I know that this sounds ironic, but some of the times with dry brushing, I can see that it's quite dusty here. So I think what's happened is, one of the things that you have to do some of the times with dry brushing is you need those little stamp pads?
Stamp pads.
Oh, of course, you are beyond stamps because stamps never would have been an issue for you.
Is it
a dampening pad?
Dampening pad. I know those.
Yeah. So you can like remove most of the paint and then just touch it into a dampening pad because you can see that it's quite dry with a lot of the dry brushing. Haha, yes, I know. But like that's why he's got some of the granulation.
So is this a xenothol or is
No,
it like
he's dry brushed.
No, I know, but is this meant to be a xenothol effect and paint over or a stone statue?
I think he's trying to do it as sort of like a metal effect.
Oh. Okay.
And like have that shine come through. And I think with the dry brushing, it does help a lot. But this is one of the reasons why we recommend the makeup brushes because they don't have quite that level of stark. Yeah, the starkness. And see, when it comes to bits of cloth and stuff like that, that harshness is actually quite good. But then when it comes to the face,
because it's a smooth texture, you want a softer brush to maintain those smooth.
Exactly, and like there's nothing wrong with it because he could still put Gilliman flesh over that if he's using the contrast. And the thing is, this is like we said, we try and fit our feedback to the people. So with this, like I think that there's nothing wrong with his technique here in the most technical sense, right? I don't see anything wrong with like the actual strokes or anything like that. It's just that lack of the lack of moisture in his dry brushing. And yes, I know that sounds ironic.
Because like with dry brushing, you should not have any.
Yeah, because like
whatsoever.
you see here, right? Things have come through quite well. So he's dry brushed it up, then he's put the contrast over it, and it's just
the definitions come out nicely.
Yes, yeah,
but it's not too stark.
Yes, exactly, and that's the whole thing, right? It's about having that level, you know. And I think that's how we can help him, you know? So makeup brushes and having something to dampen your stuff. And I think it's come together well for the most part, but I hope that feedback helps you.
I really like the leather cape that he's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
on. It's
I
really
think-
leathery.
I think if he was going for the Night Lords, use that colour with that kind of scratching and that sort of thing, and then use the makeup brush to dry brush over some flesh tone to sort of give the idea that this is sort of, the meat capes.
The meat capes. Oof.
Yes.
Intense.
Oof indeed. All right.
Dude, this is a new person.
It is a new person.
Brianna
Yep.
Elban. Hello, this will be my first post to the group for Wednesday. I'm working on a Tau army for Warhammer 40k. I am so far self-taught as far as painting goes. After priming, apply a base for each area, shade or wash or layer, and then do fine details. Currently, I'm not confident enough yet to highlight. I've been practicing though. I also haven't finished all the fine details on it yet. I tend to work on the fine details as a batch when I have more painted up and ready for them.
Yeah. So we would recommend the starting from scratch video
Okay.
that we've done. But so the other thing is when it comes to like building confidence with some of these things, like for example, you say you're not confident enough to highlight. The biggest difference between a master and a student is a master has failed more times than the apprentice has failed.
Probably.
Has tried. So yeah, I would say that's the only thing, just get in there, give it a go. As the Australians say, give it a go, you mug.
And it is very important to fail because we have a
Yeah.
friend. This is completely nothing to do with painting, but the reason why he is so good at his job and he is one of the most sought out person in his line of work, and the fact that he teaches things that nobody else, that even the company that provides the software, can teach, is because he made so many mistakes that he broke the software. At least that's what he tells us, and that's why people go to him, because he's made that many mistakes that he knows everything now, the ins and outs.
I would say here, you're letting it have a bit of pooling in some of the pants. So pooling
in the pants.
Stop it. But yeah, so when you see it all sort of clogged together, what you want with these washes is something nice and thin, not something like very
just
heavy.
one whole glob there. No,
Yeah.
you just want to go for very thin layers, and you layer it up. Layer it up little bit by bit. And if you do find that you've got a little too much paint pooled in the creases, what you can do is make sure to clean your brush, and then you just wick off the excess water. Make sure there's still moisture in the brush though, not too dry. And then you take the very tip of the brush and just run it along the pooling, and that'll just reabsorb some of the excess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But see here, some pooling in some of those areas, right? That can be fine. So just remember back to when you were painting this and how you did this area compared to this area. So this is done successfully. This not as successful. Okay. All right. So welcome, Brianna. And
we are very glad to see your process. We hope to see more from you.
And everybody starts somewhere. So don't beat yourself up.
You're a beginner, so let yourself be a beginner, you know?
And look, trust me, I'm used to failing. Don't give yourself a hard time about it. You can fail and you can mutter to yourself, but the most important thing is getting back to it after. All right, so after that, we've got Calvinoni.
And you got a very fanciful lot of creatures.
Yes, first batch of folklore horrors done, and they're quite quite interesting.
I like the green guy with the orange horns. That's my favorite.
I think he might be the Green Knight
What?
from Legend.
No, that's not him.
Yeah, I think so, because like the Green Knight's been reimagined many times.
Oh.
But I have to say that
I wonder what that guy is.
yeah, some of these things are so characterful. I really love it. And the beehive man I like. I think that's a wicker man.
A wicker man.
But they're just so characterful.
And I think the way he's colored them has definitely brought out the characterfulness of the models. Which is great.
And some of them I actually know. So this one right here comes from Irish folklore. And so it's a fey creature with the head of a horse skull, and will come in, and you essentially have to rhyme in limericks with it.
Oh.
To make it go away. Otherwise, it'll come into your house and eat all your food and like mess the place up.
So it's a goat.
It's it's a goat, but essentially you must rap battle it to successfully defeat it. But I think Cal's process has really done these models quite well. You know how he's got that sort of like, I'm going to do the contrast, I'm going to do these things, right? And I feel like these are quite simplistic but characterful models, and the colors have come through well, and he's allowed the models to speak for themselves, but like given them such pop with the colors that he's chosen.
Yeah.
Like,
I really love the church bell man. Church bell man is quite nice.
But you know, for me, like, because I know that he just wants these on the tabletop, I actually can't see any room for improvement, because there's not a whole lot of space to add stuff on the base, and they're quite wild and wacky already. I think that you would take away from the models themselves.
Yeah, maybe.
So I think that...
I think this is a very successfully done job. Yeah.
Well done, Cal. I think they look fantastic. Alright, so next up...
Ooh, it's more from Random Gobble.
Yes.
Worked on some more Star Wars duders.
So I think that we see a bit of improvement with these guys later on with some of the smoke.
Yeah.
But what I really love is the red. Like, the red is just absolutely fantastic.
It's popping.
Yes, it's absolutely popping. Like, what I do like is how he goes into some orange and then desaturates with white. I think
I like how he's done the highlight right at the rims of the
exactly.
areas.
It gives it a very reflective look.
It's very good.
Yes.
Very good.
And I like seeing some back and forth between you and him. All right. So, and this was one of the tips that I had. And basically, the thing is, find community. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't matter whether, like, if you're not accepted by your community, if you have continual pushback, if you have continual problems with it, you can't keep being a part of that community, right? It's just not going to work for you. And by the same tone, right, if a community gives you praise and adoration, yet you don't respect that community, you don't find it
some place that you can value effectively. So yeah, I can understand that.
And that's the big thing. Community is so important. All right, let us move on. So we've got some more work by Stephen, and he's just
he's got a fancy base going on.
Yeah, he's just putting in some green to that cracked earth sort of area. And see, what I really love about seeing Stephen's process here is this. We see it slowly evolving, right? and I don't think he's done yet. In fact, I'm certain he's not. But it's nice to see, how different people go about it. So you take a look at Joe, and Joe goes off on these wild, mad adventures, and Steven's just like, and I just do a little bit now, and a little bit now, and a little bit now, and we'll get there. There's stuff flying out behind Joe, just, but
he's the mad scientist, and Steven's just the lone cowboy wandering the desert. So like, ooh, a skull.
But like the thing is, it's okay to be, either one of those people or both. Like for example, with Andy, like I know that he does some more work later on, right? Which is his high quality work. But it's okay to just be like, I did this up. I feel good for doing just something.
Yeah.
And then getting to something else, because that's the thing. It's a hobby, right?
Supposed to feel good.
Yes. All right, so next up.
Oh,
we've
look
got...
at the
So
he's done the highlights for the blacks.
Yeah, but I would say, like, with the blacks, I can note a difference. But I think unfortunately, because you haven't done the clouds yet, I think a lot of when somebody is like, look at the blacks, people are going to be drawn to those clouds, and they're not going to be looking
They won't be able to appreciate your black highlights on the suit as well.
Because they're going to be looking elsewhere. So, if you didn't get as much love on that, I'd say it's just because you're like, all right, I've done the black clothes now, and like everybody's like,
what's going on?
But the smoke look the same, and it's like, you're like, but that's not the black. Okay. But yeah, no, I think that the blacks have come up quite nicely, and nice. I think you're making your way to getting it just like the rest of your Shatterpoint guys, which are just nice.
The chef's kiss.
Yes, chef's kiss.
Ooh, look at Joseph.
So Joseph has done some more things. And I tell you what, that video game's really taken him. Look at these text blocks. They're a lot less. All right, you ready?
I know I'm working on the Slender Man, but I want to get this guy, the Manhunter from Killer Dude Maniacs, done this weekend too. There's usually long drying times involved in this wood and this leather technique, and so I thought I should do them after work so they can dry overnight and not waste weekend painting time. Turns out the weather and the hairdryer completely removes those drying times, but I thought would take 2 evenings was done in under 2 hours. Nice. Back to Slenderman tomorrow evening. Hooray!
But yeah, I think that the woods come out quite nicely.
Oh yeah, that is an excellent wood. It's very woody. I love it.
That's what you want. You want the ladies complimenting your wood.
Wood. Wood.
Yes. I think
the leather's also very leathery.
Yeah,
nice,
I feel like
nice.
it could like I feel like the color tone, like it wants just the tiniest bit more yellow in it.
Maybe you could do that with like a pale yellow dry brush.
No, like it's just a tint to the sun. But that's neither here nor there. Let us move on. So yes, this is more. Yes, more from Andy. So
I attend the semi-regular painting meetup on a Thursday. That's very nice. And here's today's efforts. So on Sir Yeats a lot, I've done the sword. I tried to add some shading to the yellow and extended his moustache. need to do a base, and these are a few bits that need a touch up, but he will probably move to the done pile soon. And then there is Miss doesn't have a name, the orc blacksmith. Don't worry, I will help you come up with name. Added a bit more highlighting on the skin. Need to work out how to add some texture as the skin is looking a little plastic-like in places, but it's moving in the right direction.
Alright, so let's take a look.
Let us see.
So the one thing I wanted to say about this is, obviously this is a work in progress, but I really feel that you should go ham with the sword here, because you put so much work into the rest of him, and like we can see how much work you put in, because like the reds and the yellows have just this amazing shading, and like the worst thing about yellows is I know that cameras hate them as well. So like he's probably got actually nicer shading than this, right? And I just feel like if you do the sword with like those sort of different sheen levels, that will really help with this guy. Because the thing is, I think that with this guy, he is... So Andy hasn't stated exactly what level he's going for here, but I feel like Andy is pushing for his own showcase level here, right? Maybe not consciously, but you take a look at this model, right? You take a look at the shading, you take a look at all of it, right? Now, the face is unextraordinary, but I find that faces that have the big hats, that sort of thing...
That's going to be difficult, yeah.
Well, more than that, he's probably fighting the sculpt, right? So I find that when they've got the big hats, their faces aren't sculpted that well. So I think the mustache comes through well. But what I'm saying is, like, you take a look at this, especially around here where you can see the shading come through. And like I feel like the white socks, they do feel white, but they've got that shading, you know? Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's really hard to pull off. And I feel like he's just... Because it feels like he's been pushing himself a lot, not just his regular best, but he's actually trying to push beyond, and like that's what we call showcase level, where you are pushing yourself in every way that you can, right? And I feel that this guy is already beyond character level, and I feel like you will regret not actually pushing that extra bit here because of all of the other work that you've done. Because, yeah, that's my personal opinion, and like I could totally be wrong. But that's my thought, because I think that you've done really well with the yellow and the red.
There seems to be a little spot on his hat.
A little spot on his hat up here? Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, that can be fixed.
Yes.
But I think you sort of see what I'm getting at with him.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at the white socks.
I feel like the back isn't as well presented as the front, because like you take a look here with the shading there and take a look at the back, and like white is just so hard to do.
It's okay, brushstroke teaches how to do it.
Yes, I understand that, but like trying to get that circular surface, and he's going for
texture of the cloth
and all of that. So like
I understand that. Yeah.
Okay. I see what he means with the sort of plasticness of
matte varnish.
Yeah.
Just matte varnish. It'll work.
What Barbarella?
No.
No, not
okay,
Barbarella.
So she's clearly a swordsmith of some sort. No, wait.
Yes, she's a blacksmith.
She's a blacksmith. Blacksmith Orcarella.
No, that's too much, especially for an orc.
Okay, let's see.
No, that's too much dead air for this podcast.
Miss miss.
But I'd have to agree with Sunny. It just seems like it's just a bit glossy.
Well, you could do one or two things. You could do a bit of stippling to bring some texture into her skin, and then do a matte varnish on top, and that'll just help with that plastic look.
Yeah. Well, I think probably just the matte varnish to bring it down, I think will probably be the big thing, because I don't think that any of the colouring is bad. And, like, it is a work in progress. He's not finished the base yet and that sort of thing. But I think, like, there's nothing wrong with the paint job in of itself. I feel like it's just that the skin's quite glossy, you know. And I think when green is glossy, we automatically think plastic. Like, in the most technical sense, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But yeah, so I think you've done really well, Andy. I think you are just a smidgen away from just getting all the way. Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Did you know? Well, there's somebody who keeps talking about smooth butts on those
on his yellow bananas. Yes, somebody's talking too much once again.
Yes. All right.
Oh, look at this! Look at this. Okay,
right,
let us talk about this.
You wanted to give feedback on my stuff once again.
So I do think that you have done the texture of the shark skin very nicely, and then the eyes came out very good.
Well, I like the eye because it seems very shark-like, you know, with the sort of like you can see the white arm from the eye and then the white dot.
Yeah, so you've also given him a glossy skin because, you know, he's in the water.
Well, it's because of sort of how that shark skin looks.
Yeah, and you've done a great job with the scarring and the sword. The sword as well as the pants. You know, all the colors have come out very nicely. The metal is good. Details have come out really great.
So this is true metallic metal, but I've been trying out a lot of non-metallic metal with some of these.
So this one was really good because you added the sakura patterning on the outfit. And it looked very Japanese.
The person who commissioned it a yukata? See, the Asians know. I don't. I'm just going to brutalize it with my Angloizing.
Okay.
I'll just be the yakita. The yakita.
Okay.
Okay? Aye, mate. That's how you speak Australian. Have your mouth mostly open while you speak. And you got to lock your jaw in. Alright.
Yes, and
actually,
bearded.
there is one thing that I was proud of with this. I was actually proud of one thing, which is the eye.
And I was very impressed with the eye because these guys are very tiny as well, and you've got her expression really well. I think something that you've been doing very well with these models is that you've managed to bring out the expressions of the models very well. Like this guy at this distance, you can already see his face.
Yeah.
That's great.
Also, I was trying out non-metallic metals with this, and over here I don't know how well I did with that, but I was pretty happy with the bamboo. Alright, and this
is supposedly a mermaid situation.
Well, the person was like, oh, Little Mermaid's meant to have red hair, and I'm like, okay, alright,
we shall do it.
I do for you.
I think it does well for this model.
Oh yeah, I think it looks nice.
It's very interesting.
I'm a little worried about the like star sticker that she has here. Look, I do not design this model.
Oh well.
But yeah, and then
another shark man.
Yes, but he's got a whole coral reef on him.
Yes, he's got the barnacles.
But yeah, so
I think you've done a great job with these guys. I think my favorite is definitely the kimono girl.
What have I done well? where can I improve?
So I think you've done well in bringing out the character of each model, and you've definitely made decisions to help bring each one of them their own personal personality. And what you could do well is, I think your non-metallic metal could probably use some work, because in real life it actually looks more like stone than metal.
Well, see, like you can see here the non-metallic metal compared to my true metallic metal.
Yeah, because your true metallics are obviously your specialty, but if you're doing non-metallic metal, I think that still needs some work.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so let us wrap up. So I just want to go back to our tip from Thursday, and I want to say, I hope that you find that this is a community for you. I hope that you guys find our feedback helpful, because our goal is to help you. It's not for us to impose our values on you. It's about us trying to help you achieve your things. Now, to be fair, you know, with Andy here, I am imposing a bit of my values, but I'm just seeing how he's pushing things, how he's making these decisions.
And like, you know, sometimes people are trying to push for things even without realizing themselves. And they just need someone to tell them, hey, I see that you're trying to do something here. Why not go a little further?
Yeah.
Sometimes when people give you that little extra push, makes you feel like someone recognizes that you've got potential, that you've put in effort, and that you've got potential.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what everyone wants, to be seen as a person with potential, and to have that potential realized, you know?
Yes. To be seen and to be recognized.
Yes.
And not to be ignored.
Yes.
And that's what we try and do with everyone here. Obviously, we spend more time with certain models like this one. I think we were actually pretty quick with Stephen's one here. But the main reason that I was quicker with it is because I couldn't actually give any, you know, critique, because it's far beyond my ability. He's gone for a particular style. I don't know that style. All of that sort of thing. Because we want to give feedback for you.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to impose on you. We want to help you. And that's the big thing. Having that feeling like you're heard, that you're seen, that you're recognized. And I think so many people lack that in life, and we hope that you feel that you're seen and recognized here. So, from me and Sunny, we would like to say
thank you.
Yes, thank you for joining us, and we'd like to say we hope you feel welcome here.
Yeah.
And then we would like to say the other thing.
Keep those brushes wet. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah.